Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So it's time for another ArtsyTrio Moodboard collaboration. So this month it's my turn again. So this time, with it being full summer, I thought I'd do something fresh and tasty. So I've included lots of food. I know, beautiful things. We've got pistachios and macarons and the fruit salads and ice creams and peaches and all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily just for the food, but it's the colour palette more than anything. So it's that lovely kind of pastel-y, kind of sugared almondy, kind of beautiful pastel palette that I want to use today. But I'm going to be doing a little watercolour today. So I'm going to try and use watercolours, but pastel kind of shades, if you like. So I've already done a preliminary sketch. Now it reminds me, the colours always remind me of beach huts. So I've done a preliminary sketch on my art journal pad of just a kind of really whimsical kind of beach hut scene. So that is what, I hope you can see that on the screen, and it's not too washed out, but washed out is exactly what it's going to be, because like I said, I'm going to be using watercolours. So without further ado, let me get cracking. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a ton of pens and pencils here. So I've got water brushes, all with water in. I've got my Derwent Inktense Aquarelle pencils. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be colouring these in pencils, and then I'm going to be going over again with water, and then I'm going to add some detail in later. Now I've got my detail pens here. I've also got a white Signo Uniball white pen, which I hope still works. I haven't used that for quite some time, for highlights if necessary. So I'll put those to one side. Like I said, I've got quite a few different water brushes, different nibs, because you can get them in big ones, in fine ones. So there's an even wider one, and then I've got an even bigger, wider one there for washes and stuff. So I should be probably using those two more than anything else today. Maybe that one for a bit of detail work. So I'll just pop the rest of those away. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just start adding in some pencil colour, and I'm going to really go very, very lightly on these ones. So I'm picking the lightest colours that I've got. I haven't got a huge extensive collection of these pencils. I've only particularly, well, it's just a small set that I've got. So I'm just going to go in very lightly, just adding in some of the colour into the background. I'm going to do one kind of wash over the whole lot first, and then I can come back in and add a second layer if I need to later. So I'm just going kind of side to side, and I'm not pressing hard at all. So I'll just start with this one, and then grab my water brush, just make sure that the water's coming through. That's typical, it won't come through. Why not? Oh, let's have a look. Right, and they may have to use a different one. I did have one. Right, let me just grab some water down on my palette here. And then, there we go. So, first wash. And I haven't done anything onto the paper. Haven't added any primers or gessos because I knew I was going to be doing watercolours. There we go. I'm hopefully not going to get too much pilling. Fingers crossed anyway. Okay, so that's the first one. So now we'll move into, let's see, more of a pinky colour. So we'll do, I think what we'll do is we'll go really lightly and do a kind of rainbow effect on this one. And I'm going to do this each colour at a time. Just because. Right, so we've gone with that one, so let's see if we can find a yellow. There we go. Just a bit of fun. Right, and then we'll come back in with, is that yellow again? I might have just picked up the same yellow. Probably. Alright, let's see if we can find a different one. I don't think I did that with sun yellow. Let's just activate that and see what if it goes a different colour. Not particularly. Okay, so let's just add a little bit of blue into that. Yeah, okay. And I know this is now wet, so we'll react differently. Always does. Okay, so I should, theoretically, that was definitely that one. Definitely that one. There we go. So let's go on to a different colour then. So what we've got here, teal green. So that's, let's miss one. And then come back into another pinky or a reddy one. Okay. Ooh, I like that colour. I'm hoping the exposure on this isn't too bright. Okay, let's bring in a different colour. So we've got a violet colour next. I'm keeping hold of the pencils once I've used them, that way I know which ones I've used and which ones I haven't. Okay, so I'm going to come back in, just sharpen that yellow one a little bit. nice colour. And then do we have an orange? So the good thing about using watercolour pencils as opposed to wet on wet watercolours is that the watercolour pencils you've got so much more control over. There we go. And then we'll just finish off, I think, with another blue. So I've got that blue in my hand there, so this time more of a stronger blue because there's no yellow in the background on that one. Let's just throw some more water down. Yeah, for some reason this water brush, it's not letting the water flow through. I've not used it for a while, so it may be blocked. Who can say? Okay, so that's like the first wash of that. So let me just see if I can get this water brush working, and I'll try and, it does look quite bright on the screen there, so I'm just going to see if I can dim the exposure down a little bit so you can see the colours a bit better, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I've kind of sorted it, hopefully, anyway. So next I'm going to just do some stripy boards here. I'm just going to take the colour just slightly outside that side. When I add the detail, you'll see why. Right, so I've ditched the water pen in favour of a proper brush. So just do a little bit of white, a little bit of white, a little bit of light brown, and like I said, this can just be the first coat. You can come back in and do another darker coat once you've actually got your first layer, if you like, down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and find, there's that yellow, and there was an ochre pencil, I think. That's mustard, so that'll do. So let's just do a little bit of that yellow down here, which is going to be the sand for the beach hut. And I'm not bothered about the pencils, the pencil marks being there, because I'm going to go over those probably later. Just need a kind of colour wash down here, and probably a wider brush. Okay. What I've always found with these watercolour pencils is don't be too frightened to activate them. And a lot of people think, oh, I don't like to go everywhere. They don't tend to go everywhere. They really don't kind of move that far. They're not like the Stabilo all pencils that move a lot. So right, I'm going to come back in now with that kind of mustardy colour. And bearing in mind this is probably still wet on the page. So back in with the brush. We're getting a little bit of pilling on the page, but that's all right. What I could do is actually spritz the paper a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to dry for a minute or two, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so it's had a little bit of time to dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back in and just add some more colour into these. Just go over the top, just to make them a little bit darker. Just so that the colours are a tad stronger. So, and I'll go over the top of each one before activating with the brush. And then we'll do that blue one there. There we go. That was the red. And then there was the teal. Anyway, you get the picture. So then there was the violet. That was fuchsia. So where did I put the violet down? Oh dear me. I'm rubbish at keeping track of what I've used. I can't even see it. To the floor. God, no, it's there. I think I'm going to add some variety to that green. Maybe just do a little bit of a darker green. Okay, and then that was the brown we used for this one over here. So I'm going to do a little bit darker. and I'm going to leave that one white at the end. Okay, so let's just have another go at activating. I've got another little tub of water just to the side of me here. There we go, that's a little bit better. And then we'll just activate that darker green. And remember what I said, I'm going to be coming in and adding detail back later. Okay, they're all starting to come together. Right, now I'm going to just clear that, get some water, and then I'm going to grab that brownish colour one that we had before, and I'm just going to go up the top of those two. And then just colour in. And remember, it is watercolour, so it doesn't have to be right between the lines. Just play with it and have a bit of fun. And then we'll have, let's have a look, we've got a red chili. Let's put that up there. And then we'll have a bright orange one of those on that side. And then I'm going to do blue roof over there. Better. Okay, so what colour roof shall we do? Let's do a darker blue on this one over here. Okay, So just a little bit darker up there. Like I said, you can go back time and time again if you're not happy with the coverage. There we go. Yeah, like that. Okay, so on this one over here, I'm going to mix some colour on my palette, and I want a very pale blue. So will you go back with that other blue? Alright, that's not going to pick up on that, is it? So let's just see if we can activate, there we go, the actual pencil, make it nice and washy, and I can come in and add like a little bit of a shadow on that, and then I can do the same thing kind of with the top of the doors. And we'll do the same thing to this one here. Just adds that little bit of shadow. Right, so I also want our darker colour. So I'm going to colour in these little posts. And again, they don't have to be exact. A little kind of washing line between the two of those. Okay, so I think I'm kind of getting there with this, the overall kind of washes. So what I want to try and do now is I want to introduce a kind of a sky up at the top, but these pencils won't cut it for that, so I am going to have to use some different watercolours for that. So I shall grab probably my really cheap ones that I picked up for about £1 ages and ages and ages ago. Absolutely ages and ages and ages ago. So what I'll do with that is I'll get the bigger brush, get some water, and then we'll go with the lightest colour. There we go, and I'm going to need 2 brushes for this. Alright, so I'll just move that to one side. So what I want to do is just kind of wet the sky towards the top. Don't mind if there's a little bit of colour coming out. So I'm loading the paper so that the water's kind of soaking in, because after 2 or 3 passes over with the brush, it'll soak into the paper and it'll kind of like sit on the surface. Okay, so when I take my blue colour, I can then just drop it in. And it's probably so subtle that you might not even be able to see it. I'm just adding a little bit down towards the bottom as well. And if I want to add a bit more water up here, I can just add a little bit more colour. Just drop it in. Just let it sit. And then we'll just come over here as well, where these little birds are. Just a bit of quick wash in the background. There we go. I think you can probably see it better there. So the water started to affect the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit and dry for a minute or two, and then I'll be right back. In fact, I may even encourage it to dry with this. Okay, so as you can see, that's all dry. So if you notice there was any mottling in the sky at the top, that's probably the actual paper, the way the water soaked into the paper. Once it's dry, it's all gone. So I'm now going to, I'm going to wet it again. This time I'm going to spritz. I'm just making sure that it is actually water, because I have mistaken alcohol before. Right, I'm just taking a wash of a darker blue colour, just there, and I'm just going to add some of that into the sky towards the top as well. And like I said, I'm not particularly bothered about a little bit of contamination. I just wanted a little bit of variation in the colour of the sky. So just get a tiny, tiny bit, maybe there, and then just add some more water. And because watercolours are water soluble, you can go back and just squidge and manoeuvre. So a little bit of variation in that sky there. Yep, and I'm kind of happy with that. So let me get that dried off and then I'll be right back. All that water and the mottling's now gone. So what I've done is I've put all my Inktense pencils to one side and I've brought out my other pencils. Now these are Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils. Now all I'm interested in are these two colours here for now. So we've got, I should have a colour code on them. One's orange and one's dark grey. There we go. So easy enough. So what I'm going to do for the little birds on the roof, I'm just going to create some little legs, and we've got some little beaky colours, and then for the dark grey I'm just going to colour in the wings, because obviously seagulls, little hint of a tail. So just adding a little bit of the detail now. So I can now come round and just add a bit of definition. And I haven't coloured in any of the doorknobs yet, so I'm going to use these pencils to do that. So we'll have a red one on there, we'll have a browny one on there. The heat gun is still very, very hot, I've just nearly burnt myself. And then we'll go for the dark blue on this one. And then I'm going to go for a nice sort of tealy colour on that one, but they're all going to have, well, a couple of them are going to have different coloured doors. So on this one, I'm going to just gently just go over that space. Adding some gentle colour. I'm not pressing very hard at all. And then just as I get towards the bottom, just add a little bit of colour to that. And then on the rainbow one, I've got this kind of, what is it? It says Venetian red. So I should just go very lightly with that one. And because we're going very, very lightly, I'm going over that blue shadow. I can come back in with that grey in a minute. Here we go. Lovely. And then just up here, just create a few grey tones underneath the eaves of those. And this is where kind of like all the detail starts to sort of make sense. And I'm not trying for photorealism. Not at all. Never try for that. I think actually I'm kind of okay with where we are with that at the moment. So now we're going to switch, put those pencils away again, and then switch to the actual detail. Alright, so where did I put my detail pen? There we go. So Faber-Castell detail pen. So this is where it starts to kind of pop a little bit. particularly with the birds. And then I can start to add in some detail on the boards. And this is why I said I was going to allow it just to go over the edge a little bit, because I wanted to give it the appearance of like shiplap. You can see where that sort of detail comes in, but it's scrabbly detail. So again, you can just have a bit of fun with this, because you're not, like I said, you're not striving for photorealism in the slightest. So does it really matter if it goes a bit awry? Of course it doesn't. In fact, when it goes awry, that's usually when it's the most fun. That's where the whimsy comes into it. Just like that. Oh, don't forget the hinges. we go. So I know I stopped talking, but and then we can just add in a little bit of detail. There we go. So we've got some beach huts. So let me just flip that over. And then the page is stuck down again. There we go. So if I grab, now what did I do with, there it is. So I can get some glue. There we go. Turn that over. And then I can stick that down so I can remember what the inspiration was at a later date. So just flip back over again. So there we have it. So there is my little watercolour and whimsy drawing. Actually, I've not completed it, have I? I knew there's always something that would miss out. So this is for Moodboard number 22. So this is going to be my last curated Moodboard for the ArtsyTrio group. I'm still going to be doing number 23 and 24 with B, but that will take us up to 2 years of doing the ArtsyTrio Moodboards. And so after 2 years, I think it's time for me to move on. So it'll be the last one. This one will be the last one that I curate, but there will still be another one from B and Gina. They're still going to be carrying on after August. I think they've already got somebody lined up to take my place. Yeah, but I probably will still participate in the challenges. Maybe not every single one, but I will be doing some. Going forward, because it's nice to work to somebody else's prompts rather than your own all the time. So there we go. So what I'll do now is I will just sign it and date it and then call it done. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, there will be a link in the description area below for Gina's project and B's project based on the same mood board images. So pop across and show them some love as well. So, and also if you want to join the ArtsyTrio Facebook group, there will also be a clickable link in the description area below this video for that too. So that's it from me. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.